So it's referring to how his brother survived with the sleep and wait strategy.
Well, if he says that, if he knows that he won with a sleep and wait strategy, then that would imply that he wouldn't need to research it because he knows what happened in that incident. You gotta love to be gone back yet. Don't you grab it. Welcome to Lobster Magnet and Friends. I'm here with my buddy Goro.
Hey, what's up?
And we are here to talk about Hunter x Hunter, chapter 390.
Yes, the one right before hiatus. The last one before hiatus.
Yeah, well, no, it's yep. Sorry, I was just checking something, but yep, it's that time of the year again. Togashi needs to go slumber to either recharge his artistic prowess. Well, I read somewhere,
or slay some dragons in Dragon Quest, or
yeah,
something like that.
or I heard a rumor that he like had the names for like the next 10 issues planned. They're just not drawn up. But it's like, I'm done. It's time for me to go hibernate. It's time. I gave you a volume. It's time for me to go to sleep. So as expected, we got our 10 chapters, and this isn't bad. I don't think I'd hate the hiatuses as much if there was like a set schedule, like kind of like how Oda gets like a break every 3 weeks. It'd be nice, like, okay, we get 10 chapters in a row, then he goes on a 2-month sabbatical or 3-month sabbatical, then we know when Hunter x Hunter's coming back.
Right, exactly. But the really painful thing is we don't know when he comes back, when he'll come back. We just know that there's a good chance he'll come back if he's not dead. So
yeah, pretty much. That's all we've got to go on. That he's not dead yet. He's got maybe 20, 30 more years left or something. So we're definitely gonna see him again.
I hope so. I really hope he finishes this arc so it can get animated in another anime reboot of Hunter x Hunter.
That's a good question. When the anime eventually comes around again, what do you think they're gonna do? Do you think they're gonna just start it over from the beginning, or do you think they'll just
Why
animate
not?
this arc?
Start it over from the very beginning. Call it Hunter 2020.
2020. Hunter 2020. Maybe by that time they'll actually get to the Dark Continent and we can see all this shit animated. So all right, so let's get into the chapter itself. Zhang Li, or what's the third prince's name?
Yeah, I think that's it. Zhang Li.
Zhang Li. So it's interesting. I feel like my theory is getting more and more confirmed with his suspicions about his Nen power. That he feels like a way to rule is like this currency that his Nen beast gives out, that gives people powers, and that through this prosperity, that's how he'll become a good king.
Right. So his main method of ruling is economics, I suppose. He wants to have a strong economic system with his ruling.
Or you could say it's a system where the economics are dependent upon him, entirely on him.
Okay.
The people are financially dependent on him, and that is how we'll get that rule.
And people will want that economic strength for their country and for the rest of the peoples. So they'll want him to be, the ruler.
Or they'll just want the prosperity that whatever the fuck those coins do, since we still don't know. We just know on certain conditions they give you certain abilities. And now there's this new factor about the number that increases. And we don't know if that's a good thing, if that's a bad thing, what that exactly means.
Well, if the coin, I think the coins all do give some kind of good special powers. I don't think it's going to be anything bad. Because I believe that's what Sang Li's intention is, to give all these coins, at the end after he wins the succession war, to the peoples, and then it's gonna be then the effect will take place. It's not actually used for battle or to win the succession war exactly, but it's for the nen beast is actually his nen beast is used for after the succession war, making sure he rules well because it's aligning more with his personality of like, oh, I always think about what's going to happen in the future, uh, the aftermath of things. Like I'm always thinking like two steps ahead
Well,
into
the
the
interesting
future.
thing is that he seems like the most poorly equipped prince right now.
Oh, to win the succession war, yeah, he does need some help.
He doesn't know what Nen is. He doesn't understand about a Nen beast. His only fucking help is his like father's illegitimate child, who's like, I don't know. Some of the kids know about this Nen shit. You know what you need
But
to
his
do?
bodyguards are learning then.
I guess, but like, what's his plan? It's to just like sleep and fucking wait, and like his most trusted advisor is this like fucking fat mob boss Jabba the Hutt version of the king, who's like literally like, I don't give a shit what the doctors tell me. I'm gonna do what I want. I'm gonna eat what I want. What about Nan? I don't know. Kids know what that is. Although the intriguing thing is like, what does he mean about it'll take time to research that incident? What is that incident?
What? Yeah, what was he talking about with that
I
incident?
had no idea. It's either something we don't know about, or it's like something in terms of like the Haley family deaths. It's a classic that jutsu kind of thing.
I gotta look at that part again.
It's like on the sixth or seventh page when they're talking.
You'll have to wait a bit until I'm able to. Oh, he's talking about how his brother won the succession war. The king, the current king.
But like, what is that incident?
It's I think the incident he's referring to is how the current king won the previous succession war.
That's interesting. But like, why does that need to be time to research? Why doesn't he just know it? I guess he's like out of public view, so maybe he doesn't. But like, I don't know.
Maybe there's computers on the ship and they can look back at the records of, that succession war, the previous succession war. I don't know how he would be able to research that, but maybe he
It,
has a group of researchers in his mafia
it's a
group.
good theory. It's the best theory I have. I think it'll be like something completely separate. Like it'll come out of nowhere, like the Nen Suicide Squad.
Wait, you think what's going to come out of left field? That incident?
Yeah, that incident's gonna be something that we've never heard of. Oh, it's the Padjong incident where the desirables build bones in their arms to become a part of the Kakin elite who have anti-Nen Beast Nen powers, or I don't know, just some crazy crap that Togashi will pull.
Oh, but you think it's tied? It's like a separate incident that's tied to how the current king won the succession war.
I just think it's gonna be something completely separate, not tied to how the first king won the succession war.
But their whole conversation beforehand was about,
Yes, you're
how,
right, but it feels like to me that that was a different topic. I feel like that was like talking about something completely different. Because like, why would you say that incident? Why wouldn't you say then like, can you tell me how my father won the war? Why be so obtuse about it?
he gives a reason. You'll have to wait a little bit until I'm able to research that incident.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the incident of the succession war. It sounds like it's.
Yes, the section war can be called an incident.
Why don't you just call it? I have to research how my fucking brother won. Like it makes no sense. I don't know. I'd be very curious if like maybe the
Why else would we be talking about researching another incident?
because some crazy stupid bullshit that like maybe the incident is the zombie virus or the eight calamities or the sphere Byron and all this other
Oh,
fucking
you
bullshit.
think they're like talking in like some weird like secret code, or like
I think
they're
it's a
kind of like
classic.
being very subtle
I
about
think
it?
it's a classic that jutsu. Oh no, don't use that jutsu. Oh, he's using that jutsu. Where it's basically vaguely alluding to some crap that, they'll pull out of their ass to make it sound like it was pre planned. You were dead set on like finding the proof that that's like him looking into the previous Succession war.
He literally says, "It's said that good luck sleeps and waits. My Anarchist also survived with that strategy. You'll have to wait a little bit. You'll have to wait a bit until I'm able to research that incident." So it's referring to how his brother survived with the sleep and wait strategy.
Well, if he says that, if he knows that he won with a sleep and wait strategy, then that would imply that he wouldn't need to research it because he knows what happened in that incident.
He doesn't know the details. Apparently, I think uh, Zhang Li wants the details. He wants specifics. Like, okay, how did he win? Like, how exactly did he win? Like, what were the, what's the most information you can give me on that?
Well, it's funny how ill prepared he is, but the one thing I loved this chapter is that we finally got to see the Mafia start to move after like putting up with Morena's bullshit.
Yeah, and you can see all the bureaucracy behind it, like how the higher ups influence the underlings, and then they influence the other underlings.
Yeah,
and
I did love that. I did love that scene where like the weird guy, his eyes kind of remind me of Bato from Ghost in the Shell.
Bato, which guy is that?
He's like the guy who's always with the Major. He's like the Major.
Oh yeah.
The guy who's always friend zoned by the Major.
Oh yeah, the second in command.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah. So
But like, I love the scene where he's like, "All right, let's move out," and he's like, he gets his like special Nen troopers, and then they go into like the fucking open area, and they're just like super cocky. It's like, we're investigating shit, and then the stupid, cocky, dumb Morena prude people come in, and they're like, "Ha ha ha, we're killers. We're gonna get you. We're gonna slash your neck, and because you're trying to get information." But fuck you. We got fucking Mafia Nen troopers. I love that with the soul girl who interrogates them and gets some fucking information out, so now other people can learn what she's all about. And then the fucking blood guy, well, it's interesting because like it's definitely one of them. I'm curious to see what Takashi does with it, because it's not like one of the most creative superpowers in anime manga. But then again, like there's also the main guy with his ability to turn inanimate objects into animals is like right out of JoJo.
Oh, is it? I don't. I wouldn't know. I haven't gotten that far
Part
with
5
JoJo.
in JoJo, there's the main guy has a stand ability that's pretty much does exactly like that. Does exactly that.
I see.
You can like transform like inanimate objects into living things, and have them move around and do shit.
But the whole thing about let me see. So it seems like he's being forced by Zhang Li to move ahead and take care of
well, now they got the official
take care of their problems.
Now they got the official edict. They got like, let's fuck it up. It's obvious that Morena's off the rocker. She's not following gang protocol. Let's kill the Haley family. So it sounds like they're trying to isolate Hisoka, but they're also like, it's time to exterminate the Haley family.
So yeah, before he's able to give this information to Zhang Li, he needs to take care of Morena first, because it's causing a lot of problems and issues, disrupting his whole organization.
Well, disrupting everything for like the other two families as well.
Yeah, so in a way, he's allied also with the other crime boss to try and kill Morena and shut her down. But
well,
also
Zhang Lei's family, I forget which one he's controlling. It seems like they're moving directly to exterminate the Haley family, which is Morena's family.
Yes. So they're also in the process of looking for Hisoka before the Phantom Troop finds them, and you remember?
Yeah, no, and they even talk about it. They say that Hisoka's on the 4th level or something.
No. They said they looked through every last nook and cranny in Deck 4, and now they're moving on to Deck 3, and they're going to be also using that as an excuse to also kill Morena on deck 3 as well.
So they're killing two birds with one stone. They're finding Hisoka, and they're also, hunting down Morena's troops.
Right. So, yeah, this is an interesting kind of like cat, almost. I guess it's like a cat and mouse game.
Well,
With
what I
Ahsoka.
really loved about this chapter is that, like, Morena's troops have been allowed to run wild. Nobody knows anything about them, but I like the. It's fun when you have like one bad guy. Like, there's one group of really arrogant bad guys, and we kind of don't like them because they're mucking up. They're making shit more complicated. They're making it harder to find Hisoka. They're literally blocking all the interesting stuff that we want to see in the manga. And it's like, fuck these guys. We hate them.
Wait, who do we hate? Sorry.
Morena's family. Morena's, troops and attackers. Like, do you like them?
I think it's kind of fun to see them, go off the rails, out of line with any kinds of bureaucracy that's going on in this whole story arc. So it's kind of fun to see that dichotomy of just like completely wild stuff going on.
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't fucking like them, and I'm very glad. I really like this chapter. I thought they're cocky and arrogant, and I loved watching them get put into their place.
Oh yeah. Well, okay. It's fair. Because
like you even have that scene where like the girl's walking and she's like, "Oh, well the police the troopers will only be able to watch you for 2 minutes or 5 minutes before the commotion becomes more than they can ignore. Goodbye, Mr. Haley family." And you're like, "Fuck you, bitch. Who the fuck do you think you are?"
I forgot that part.
Yeah. And it's like an arrogant scene where it's like, you should be watching who's behind you. You have that guy who like slits the neck, and then the other guy comes to attack, and then bam, Nen powers. It's like a great scene where like I forget, ages ago there was like this Fox News report where they were like attacking the West Baptist Church, and it was like watching like a giant bear like beat up a rabid dog.
A giant what?
Bear.
What happened? This is like,
God damn it, Craig.
This is the West Baptist Church.
Yeah, you know the famous church that like pickets gay funerals and whatnot and says God hates FAGS.
Oh yeah. And what happened to them again?
So, like, they were featured on Fox News, and then they had the Fox News, like, anchormen who were just tearing them apart.
Ow. Oh, God.
so you get it? It's like seeing, like, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So it was like seeing, like, the bigger bad dog tear up the worse, smaller one.
Okay. Yeah, I see. Yeah,
and that's what this is. We got these criminals, and like these criminals, as far as we knew, were the underdogs in this fight because we didn't know that they had Nen powers. But now we know that they're a little bit more equipped than we thought.
It's so obvious they have Nen powers. Like, why else would you bring a guy with like a blood thing? Like, he's has a blood transfusion bag next to like.
Well, we didn't
of course
know
he's got some weird ass Nen powers.
All right. Of course, that guy had weird Nen powers. The blood bag was a giveaway.
And he just took 2 people with him. Like, that's it.
But
a guy with a blood
like
bag
up until that scene, we didn't know
that
that family had any Nen people. We thought that they were Nenless.
Yeah, but you knew in your heart that they were going to be badasses. Like, there's a reason he called them out by name. Like, you two, blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. I forget their names already. Maybe I'll go back and look at them. Lynch, Zakuro. He calls them out by name. They're badasses.
Yeah.
And one of them's... I didn't notice this at first, but one of them is reading a magazine upside down. She's reading the magazine upside down. I don't know if you noticed this. On page 8, look at the magazine she's reading. It's upside down. What kind of fucking crazy guys are these? Crazy people are these?
They're the craziest guys who fucking love upside down magazines.
One guy has a transfusion bag. Other people reads magazines upside down. You know they have NM powers. You know that. It's so obvious. You know, I saw these coming a mile away as soon as.
Well, all right. So obviously they had powers. Maybe the better thing is like we had up until we saw them, we had no idea that the Cha-Ra family or whatever they're called had like Nen users. We just thought that they were like regular mooks ready to be
fair enough.
mobbed down.
Fair enough.
You know, because like so many people on the ship are unequipped or have never heard of Nen and unequipped for like all these Nen battles. It's easy to assume that they were like the mafias that the Phantom trope mowed down, the 10 families, where they had the Shadow Beasts, but the Shadow Beasts sucked, and they didn't really have many Nen users to counteract the Phantom trope.
Right. Yeah, I see how it is. That makes more sense. Because maybe Nen users in each of these crime families it's obviously not as well known, because even the boss of the family is like, oh, what? Some of my underlings know about that. I don't even really understand it, but so it's pretty rare for the crime boss is to be able to hire Nen users. So maybe it's a very rare thing, and we're seeing like the top lieutenants will probably have.
I mean that could be. They're neat powers, but they don't feel like super versatile, dangerous powers. But they're good for their purposes. The blood thing and for capturing, and the soul confession.
Right, soul confession is actually really useful to interrogate the family members for information about how many numbers they have, what their powers are. This is actually going to be a really useful power for this situation, as long as she gets a lot of support. A lot of like offensive, defensive support to help her utilize this power the best way she can.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. Seeing more of them like just destroy and wreck shit, because it's nice to see like Morena's super cocky troops finally get their shit handed to them, and now it's like people aren't in the dark anymore. The information's out there. It's obviously going to spread, and that'll put them at a huge disadvantage since they don't have the chaos factor, and that people know that there's like 23 of them.
Yes. So if they're able to relay that information to the rest of the crime families, like then it'll be a lot easier for them to track them down, and they now know that they're not officially whatchamacallit, organization members of Morena. So they're like kind of like unofficial members of Morena's crew. So they're not documented in.
Well, that is a good question that hasn't been specified about Togashi. Is the Hele family? Do they have how many people do they have outside of Morena's core 23 crew? Is that the entire family? Do they have another crime indication that outside of that? Are they separate? Morena's wrecking crew separate from like the main Hele family? Because they did imply that she like just recently became the head of the family.
Right. So, yeah, this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking she must have inherited the family from a previous person, and in order to her to be considered a family, like a crime boss family, and if she's like a recent new leader of them, I think she must have inherited them, because like her personality seems very like wild and crazy, and it's just like very spontaneous. Well, that she's her rule wouldn't have lasted that long
Yeah.
if she kept on going the way she
Yeah,
has so
that
far.
is interesting that she probably inherited it because it does seem that like the crime families are like, and it does, all the people who can't be official kings or politicians, their career path is that they're forced into the crime families because society, gives them no choice. And this is just how shit is run in Kakin. And it's funny, we're getting a little microcosm about like how all these systems work in Kakin in terms of their political and social hierarchy.
Yeah. Um, yeah, and you remember that whole graph about like how all the families like had a fuck. It had a role in like what kind of like shady underground thing they did for each of the princes, the princes of Kakin.
What
Like
I don't remember that.
like one family was in charge of like trading weapons or something. Another was uh, uh, counterfeiting or something like that. I have to look it up again. X Hunter Kakin Empire. Segment.
You find it?
At the uh, see Wu family. Uh, Halal Char family. Um, uh,
'Cause I don't remember them giving like designations of what the crime each family handles.
yeah, they had a little graph about it, like, and it's weird because um, if Morena is new, why would she be like in charge of one of the upper floors of the?
Well, they're all in like the lower decks. Like I guess the idea is that like the fifth floor isn't any better than the third floor, or you could assume that like just because of her connection to
Oh
Terra.
no, they're all like it's like almost like a tier ranking. Like the bottom floors are always it successfully gets like better quality the more you go
All
up
right, well
on
then
the floor.
here's my theory. I think out of all the crime families, she's the one supported by the highest ranking prince. Well, actually, no, that doesn't make sense. There's what?
Oh wait. It counts 23 members, including his boss, Moreno Prado. At some point after joining the Halal family, Morena, at the time a junior member, staged a coup and became the new boss. Then she had her underlings kill each other until 22 remained.
When does it? Where does it say that? How did
Okay,
like?
apparently on chapter 378 of
Prove
Hunter
that
x
to
Hunter.
me. What the fuck? No. No,
I'm
no, that's like just bullshit that they made up from the Wikipedia. That's fucking fan fiction.
no. I'm gonna link it to you. I'm gonna link it to you.
I can't look at it now. I'll have to see it after the fact. But all right.
Oh, but wait. I'm gonna look this
Look at
up
the
now.
manga. See if they can prove that to me.
I'm gonna look up on the manga. Hold on.
That's fucking fan fiction. I'm gonna go on the Hunter x Hunter wiki and say, the king is actually fucking Donald Trump's, brother who died of alcoholism.
uh,
Fucking fake make shit up.
chapter 378. Balance is essential. Blah blah blah.
Do you see that? We were boring. I'll probably cut this out. All this fucking dead air.
I'm just looking at where this part is. So, okay. First off, allow me to express my gratitude. You truly have my deepest thanks, even though I'm experienced and still, but a potential successor. Wait, so oh wait, though I was ordered into this death match, you still decided. Oh, though I. Oh, this is a probably a translation error. Though I ordered you. It says, though I was ordered into this death match, you've still decided to stay by my side. For that, I am deeply indebted to you. So that death match.
To me, it sounds like she's just talking about the Succession War.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's on page. It's on chapter 378, page 7.
That to me, like, that's a huge stretch unless the Viz translation is something very different. And who knows? Maybe it's worth it to go get the Viz official translations, considering how fucking dense Hunter x Hunter can be.
Right. So, okay. What I'm thinking is what happened is jeez. She she had her underlings kill each other. When she inherited the family, she had her underlings kill each other until 22 members remained.
That's a theory. That's a theory. Like to get rid of all the people who weren't loyal to her.
Right. And like obviously that's pretty insane. But yeah. So then it's interesting too because they're also not officially on the members list of people in the crime family, I guess, in the Hello family.
Yeah, well, or whatever that list is of like the people who were like committed to it.
um and that detail doesn't make as much sense to me, um because if she inherited the organization, then the organization would have had those members on the list, people, I imagine.
Well, she could have inherited it hypothetically, and then the people were like, "Oh, we don't accept you." And then she has, "Well, if you don't accept me, then let's have a death match until the people, see who's stronger." And then, that way she got rid of all the people who weren't with her. But I mean, that's just me doing like stupid fan fiction writing and theory crafting, just like that article you sent me.
It's the Hunter x Hunter Wikipedia. It's not fan
And
fiction.
you know what? The Hunter x Hunter Wikipedia is just like Wikipedia, where you can edit anything. It's open source, man. You could go put in your own Gary Stew, Goro, the specialist hunter who has the power of super rock paper scissors, which is like rock paper scissors, but it's better because it has Krapika's chain and Killua's lightning powers.
Right. I want to figure this out. I'm just so curious now.
We're just gonna have to wait until next year and hope that Tagashi comes back from hiatus at a reasonable time, because this is the last Hunter x Hunter we're getting for a while. But this is a record breaking year though. Like 2 hiatus breaks in like the same year. We were spoiled. We got 20 chapters of Hunter x Hunter in 2018.
Yeah, I'm just so curious. Oh,
Yes.
no,
Yes.
I'm still confused. How they're not official members of the crime organization, and yeah, because they've whittled down to 23 members, right?
Yes. And
And they're not documented as official members of the Halil family. So that's a miss. That's something I feel like could be a continuity error.
We'll have to wait and see. I think it's something we need Takashi to elaborate on. But let's go back to this guy since you have to leave soonish. So overall, what do you think of this chapter? And what do you think of this section of Hunter x Hunter chapters in this Succession War, where things got even more complicated?
I fucking love it. I love this shit. This is like my bread and butter. I'm like, I can eat this all up all fucking day.
Well, it feels like we definitely made a lot more progress. We got like not one but like two prince deaths in this like batch of manga. It feels like more things have like we know more of the chess pieces. Terra Sandwich has come a long way in his Nen training. It feels like Togashi's building up for like some big thing where he's just going to throw everything at the wall.
Yeah, it's just really exciting, really exciting, and just seeing like even like the crime boss underlings like move or start to like they're starting to move and do stuff. It's like yes, I want to just like spend a whole chapter just following the crime family underlings.
I will say I'm really rooting for that Chara family to like kick Miranda Prude's ass.
I think you mean the Z Lu family.
The Zilu family. I look forward to. I really enjoyed watching the Zilu family just like kick ass and take names.
Yes. It's pretty exciting.
Because, like, the Haley family is, like, really, fucking crazy and unpredictable. They're attacking people in public. They're breaking the rules. They're acting like arrogant sons of bitches. And then, bam! Just like the iron fist of authority says, no! You're not going to do that. No! 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 So I enjoyed that immensely.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
So here's a question though: out of the three like Zele family members' powers that we got to see, which one did you find the most interesting? Snake guns, blood, or truth punch?
Oh, you mean ZU family.
The ZU family.
Or is it she or is it Shiyu? I don't know how to pronounce it exactly, but my favorite power is punch the truth out of people, actually, because I think it's a really good interrogation power.
It is a really good interrogation power. I'm privy to the blood power just because like I feel like Togashi will like that's not a really. You ever hear of Dead Man's Wonderland?
Yeah, I mean, I never watched it, but I've heard of it, of course.
Well, I read the manga and watched a bit of the anime. I don't think the anime ever got a second season, and I never bothered to finish the manga. But the whole gimmick of that was like it's a prison, and they have like these special, mutated people, and they all have powers based on blood. You could shoot blood, you could form razor blades with blood, you could make whips with blood. That was like the big gimmick. And that's not. I mean, that's the big one where they had like the blood powers, but there's also like blood powers, like There's that one teacher in My Hero Academia who was blood powers. I feel like there's probably a few other manga and anime characters that have been like, this is my blood, and I'm going to manipulate it to go after you.
Yeah, it makes it seem like, oh, I can't use too much of this blood, otherwise I'm going to die.
And they seem to be implying that here, but I'm very curious to see what Takashi comes up with, his version on the blood powers.
Yeah, I mean, it's a neat power. I'd like a little bit more explanation of how it should be used. Like,
I'm sure Takashi will come up with a whole bunch of rules and convoluted restrictions and all the complicated stuff that you love Hunter x Hunter for.
Yes, just like even though it's like an underling's underling. I still wouldn't mind having like a whole page dedicated to, showing all the intricate rules of how the blood power works for this underling.
If only Togashi could just stop drawing and have like 4 or 5 artists working under him, and then we could have like 5 series of Hunter x Hunter going on at the same time, showing us different characters.
Yeah. Oh,
we could get the
they have like alternate
manga.
story arcs. What if just like mangaka just like stopped making their own works and just all started to write storylines for Hunter x Hunter, separate storylines for Hunter.
Honestly, there's like enough material in this one arc. You could probably keep 5 or 6 people busy just showing us all the crap that's going on.
Oh my god! You imagine? Oh god! Oh, that would be just like trying to do Star Wars. Like it would be like kind of something like Star Wars, where different authors get their hands on Star Wars expanded universe stuff, and they write different things, and a lot of the times they try and keep with the continuity of everything of like the whole story, but sometimes they mess up, and yeah, that'd be a whole clusterfuck, just like Star Wars.
And then Togashi could be like, the Kevin Feige of the Hunter cinematic manga universe.
Yeah.
I'd pay to see that. But I feel like it's his baby that he's like very particular of, and that he's not so clear to share it.
Yeah, I don't think he should share it, actually. Now that I think about it.
Well, you like that Hisoka one shot, and I found that something very interesting about it. That the guy who did it, the Tokyo Ghoul guy, that apparently, Togashi didn't write it. He just gave him the instructions saying, like, what do you think Hisoka's backstory is?
Oh, that's kind of cool.
So he kind of.
I didn't know he had no. I didn't know he gave free reign over that.
I'm surprised too. It seems like that would be something he'd be very particular about. But so it's this weird thing where it wasn't sort of like not quite do what you want, but he sort of like gave him a challenge. Like, what would you fill in the details with?
I see. Wow, that's really cool that you did that. Well, I'm really curious.
So in a way, you could almost.
Do you think he would overwrite that continuity then at some point? He'd be like, "Oh, I don't like it anymore. I'm just gonna write my own Hisoka backstory."
Possibly, that is a possibility that something he might do in the future, but we'll have to wait and see.
I'd be more in line with him using that backstory as a
jumping off point
to explain in the future chapters, just to use that instead of rewriting it, making his own
thing.
Yeah.
Would be interesting to see if he like incorporates that, or if it just like remains this separate thing that's always like not connected to the larger Hunter x Hunter verse. But all right, so since you have to leave soonish, what would you rate this chapter?
9.
I'm debating between 9 and 8.5. On one hand, I love the forward momentum, but at the same time, it still feels like you're just adding more characters. But like, it was really satisfying just to see them completely wipe the floor with like Morena's people, and I was really happy to see Morena's people finally met with equal opposition.
Yeah. I knew eventually it was going to happen, but yeah, it's nice to see them like get their shit kicked out of them.
Well, I'm trying to think of like a comparison of like, I don't know. It's like you're not caught up in Game of Thrones yet, right?
I've finished actually all the books.
Oh, did you? I thought you read them all. Then you're like, no, I didn't read them all. Now you're like, I read them all. Are you sure you read them all?
I read every single book now, and Penny and Tyrion didn't have sex.
No,
you threw that in. You threw that in your video review, and I was like,
it wasn't a video review. It was like a little parody.
I was reading.
Well, the only reason why I put that in is just because it's like so heavily implied that like a romantic relationship could bloom.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see. Yeah, that makes
It's like so heavy. Like Tyrion's like, I could do better
the dwarf
than this dumb dwarf girl.
Okay.
It's like it's as like heavily implied as like, oh my god, Deku and Ochika, are they gonna become a couple? I don't know.
Deku and Ochika. Yeah. Yeah, that is. I see. Yeah,
I don't know. Tyrion's this little dwarf girl is perfectly vulnerable and inexperienced and completely enamored with him because he's a fucking lord. And he's kind of indirectly responsible for the death of her brother. And because Tyrion's a good person, he'll feel guilty about that.
All right. Fine. I see what you. I see.
Okay, so all right, so you know how they did this in the show, and they'll do it in the sixth book. You know how there's the Battle of Meereen, how Daenerys gets kicked out of Meereen. Spoilers for Game of Thrones if you care.
Yeah, Daenerys gets kicked out of Meereen.
I thought you read the book.
Oh, yeah, the dragon carries her off.
She runs away from Meereen. Okay.
By the way, spoiler alert! If you
I already said it.
Oh, spoiler alerts!
So she runs away from Meereen, and she's all alone, and then, like, all the people come, and they're, like, attacking Meereen. It's like a bad shit storm. All the slavers are back. But then later on, she gets the Dothraki, and then they come and attack the slavers, and then they stop them, and they're, like, doing all bad stuff. That's what this was like. It was like seeing the kind of bad guys beat up the worst guys who are just causing fucked up shit for everyone.
I think that might be in the show, not in the...
It's not in the book yet, but there's an unreleased chapter where they show the whole big battle happening, and it's heavily implied that'll probably happen in the book too.
Okay, I did not know that. But
spoilers.
But yeah, I was kind of like half listening anyway, but I heard the Battle Marine, and I was like, wait, what? We haven't experienced.
The bad guys killed the worst guys, so you know what? This gets an 8.5. I really enjoyed this chapter, but like I wanted to see a little bit more forward momentum before we left. But it was definitely a more satisfying point to leave off than Krapika's Nen training.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. I'm kind of like looking at all the members of the Halil family right now, and I'm just like trying to put all the pieces into place, like to see if those two guys were really like the members of the Halil family that we originally saw that they got the powers from Marina, and yes, they are. So cool.
Yep, everything's cool. Tagashi knocks it out of the park again, and we are, lesser without his presence. We'll miss you, Tagashi.
Yes. Oh man, Tagashi, you're just like a rabbit hole that goes deeper and deeper, and never-ending fun and excitement.
Oh man, though, like I almost want this arc to end just so I can make my super video essay about Game of Thrones and the nature of power and how each prince represents a different form of power.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would love that.
Little by little, I feel like I'm getting more and more evidence to prove that point, but I feel like I can't make it too early until like the arc is finished.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
But we were right about Zhang Li, that he has the power of like wealth and commerce.
That's true. It's definitely a very metaphorical thing about the princes.
And the prince's Nen powers, and how each one of them rules. One rules by fear, one rules through money, another rules by bringing people together, the other rules through religious dogma.
Yes. And etc. Things like that. Anything else?
I think that covers it for now. Look forward to Dr. Stone. Goro is. You want to give him a little tiny taste of what you think of Dr. Stone?
It's great. It's great. I've finally got a chance to catch up with Dr.
See,
Stone.
Goro, don't you see what you were missing out while enjoying the joys of 3D women? They were keeping you away from all this Dr. Stone content.
Hey, I could have 3D women now and Dr. Stone. So, I took a little hiatus.
But it was some really good strong stuff. Well, all right, so let's give people one little taste before we go by. What was your favorite? Like, give me one or two of your favorite things from like the several arcs that we weren't talking about it.
Oh, the tank, the fucking paper tank. I can't believe he made a fucking tank. Like the automote, it went like, oh my god! The science experiments just like accelerated after the cell phone arc, like during the cell phone arc. You're just like, holy shit, they're making these complicated light bulbs. They're getting the water wheel. Like that means they can pump the electricity faster. Oh god. All right. But I gotta say
so that's a taste. We're gonna probably spend a lot of time gushing over Dr. Stone and celebrating the anime. And I have a very special surprise I got planned for the intro of that video that I'm gonna put a little bit more effort than I do into these like video blog reviews. So look for that. And Ivo, I'm gonna make it up to you for not including you into the 10K celebration. I'm gonna make it up to you. I'm gonna make it up to you, and it's gonna be great.
Who?
One of the guys who comments he's like one of the original Dr. Stoners.
Oh. Okay, yes. Okay, I see. Yeah. All
right.
I just misheard. I didn't hear what his name was.
All right. So thank you for hanging out with us. It was always a pleasure. Give us your comments. We eat comments. And remember, lobster and tennis, but don't you grab it.